Let's do a quick recap for each fight for UFC 300 Pereira vs. Hill. I'll also review my predictions for each fight, which I make for every event on this channel. Please like and subscribe if you find this interesting, informative, or entertaining, as it'll help keep me motivated in continuing to create content for you all. Plus, you get picks and analysis right here. Let's go ahead and jump right in. We ended the night 8 out of 13 fights at a 62% accuracy. For the previous 10 events, we're averaging 68%. All-time, we're averaging 67%. All-time pay-per-views, we're averaging 69%. And all-time fight nights, we're averaging 66%. For the first fight of the night, we had Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt came out aggressively, utilizing calf kicks and mixing in unorthodox strikes, while Figueiredo sought to establish his own rhythm. Despite some early success from Garbrandt, Figueiredo managed to weather the storm and assert his dominance as the fight progressed. In the second round, Figueiredo capitalized on a grappling exchange, securing a takedown and swiftly transitioning to dominant positions on the ground. With expert grappling, Figueiredo maneuvered into mount and eventually secured a rear naked choke, forcing Garbrandt to submit at 4 minutes and 2 seconds of the second round. This marked a significant victory for Figueiredo, showcasing his prowess not only as a striker, but also as a formidable grappler in the bantamweight division. Now, I predicted Figueiredo had a 69% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and we absolutely nailed this prediction. In the next fight, we had Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Both fighters displayed their skills with Green's unorthodox striking and Miller's relentless pressure. Miller found success early on, dropping Green with powerful strikes, but Green showcased his resilience by bouncing back and landing significant shots of his own. As the fight progressed, Green's superior striking began to take its toll, visibly marking up Miller's face and dominating the exchanges. Despite Miller's relentless forward movement, Green's slick footwork and accurate punches allowed him to control the pace of the fight. In the final round, Green unleashed a barrage of strikes that overwhelmed Miller, leading to a dominant performance and a clear unanimous decision victory for Green. This victory solidified Green's position in the lightweight division and highlighted his skillful striking and defensive skills against a tough opponent like Miller. It was really hard watching Miller go through that loss, especially with how bloody he was left. There were massive drops of blood leaking from his face and falling onto the canvas. At the end of the fight, Green called out Paddy Pimblett during his post-fight interview, and I think that's going to be a very intense and fun fight. I predicted Bobby Green had a 60% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and although some people were hesitant due to the unnecessary damage Green took at the end of his previous fight, I knew he would overwhelm Miller and get the job done. In the next fight, we had Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. From the outset, Andrade's aggressive striking clashed with Rodriguez's calculated distance management. Andrade's relentless leg kicks and powerful punches showcased her championship pedigree, while Rodriguez's precision striking and counterattacks kept her in contention. Despite a valiant effort from Rodriguez, Andrade's ground control in the first round and aggressive striking throughout the fight earned her the edge on the scorecards. Rodriguez showcased her resilience and technical skill, landing clean shots and even threatening with submissions. However, Andrade's relentless pressure and impactful strikes ultimately secured her a hard-fought split decision victory. I thought Rodriguez did enough damage to get the split decision in her favor, but Andrade had more diverse striking overall, and round 1 really made the difference in this fight. I predicted Marina Rodriguez had a 51% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, but unfortunately she fell a bit short today. This is exactly why I had Jessica Andrade featured in my Promising Underdogs video, so if you cashed in on that and felt like she would win and used my video as a confirmation, great job. In the next fight, we had Jalin Turner versus Renato Moicano. From the start, Turner's powerful kicks and precise striking posed a threat to Moicano, who attempted to close the distance and take the fight to the ground. Despite Turner's early success, Moicano managed to secure a takedown and assert control on the mat, transitioning to dominant positions and unleashing ground and pound. In the second round, Moicano capitalized on his grappling exchanges, securing full mount and delivering a barrage of elbows and punches that overwhelmed Turner. Unable to escape the relentless assault, Turner found himself trapped under Moicano's pressure until the referee intervened to stop the fight at 4 minutes and 11 seconds of the second round. Now I have to be honest with you guys, Turner is an absolute idiot for not going for the TKO and just walking off and turning his back after Moicano got hurt. His fight IQ literally fell to the ground in my opinion. He has absolutely no logic. So you mean to tell me he pours shots down on a defenseless Bobby Green, putting his career on the line, but when he sees Moicano drop and the ref doesn't step in yet, he turns his back and walks off? You turn your back in one of the biggest events in the history of the UFC without a confirmed victory. Some people were saying that since he poured unnecessary shots on Green, he was worried about throwing too many unnecessary shots in this fight. And I would totally agree with you if he didn't turn his back like an amateur. He turned his back and walked off. Why would you not get closer to your opponent, get your arms ready for some additional strikes, maybe look towards the ref to call the finish, maybe even land one or two more shots to get that definitive victory? How do you go from throwing unnecessary damage to Green to literally turning your back to your opponent just walking away? Absolutely embarrassing for Turner. He 100% deserves that loss and needs to learn a lesson about professional fighting. At that point, you don't deserve the win nor a $300,000 bonus. I predicted Jalin Turner had a 61% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and although he had almost finished that fight and gotten the job done, Moicano took advantage inevitably and control of the fight. In the next fight, we had Sodiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopes. With Yusuff known for his striking skills and Lopes showcasing his surging momentum, anticipation was high for this explosive encounter. However, the fight was almost over as soon as it began, as Lopes stunned Yusuff with a powerful uppercut, sending him to the canvas early in the first round. Lopes wasted no time in capitalizing on his advantage, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches on Yusuff, who struggled to defend himself. Referee Mark Smith intervened to stop the fight at 1 minute 29 seconds of the first round, declaring Lopes a winner via TKO. This impressive victory catapulted Lopes even further into the spotlight, cementing his status as a rising star in the featherweight division. I predicted Sodiq Yusuff had a 51% probability of winning, but Diego Lopes is insanely talented and has great potential. His fight camp definitely made a difference in this fight. He had wonderful support from very high-level UFC talent. In the next fight, we had Holm versus Kayla Harrison. In this highly anticipated debut, Kayla Harrison, who is a former PFL champion and two-time Olympic gold medalist, stepped into the octagon against former UFC bantamweight champion Holm. Despite Holm's reputation as a seasoned veteran, Harrison was heavily favored in the betting odds. And as the fight commenced, both fighters engaged cautiously, with Harrison showcasing her grappling skills very early on. Utilizing her strength, Harrison managed to take Holm down and dominate her on the ground, unleashing a barrage of strikes and controlling the fight. In the second round, Harrison swiftly secured a rear naked choke, forcing Holm to submit at 1 minute 47 seconds of the round. This impressive victory not only marked Harrison's successful debut in the UFC, but also signaled her potential to become a force to be reckoned with in the bantamweight division. I predicted Kayla Harrison had a 79% probability of winning, and she truly lived up to that confident prediction. In the next fight, we have Boston versus New York, Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Sterling, who was a former UFC bantamweight champion, made his debut in the featherweight division against Kattar, known as the Boston Finisher. Throughout the fight, Sterling showcased his grappling skills, repeatedly taking Kattar down and controlling the fight on the ground. Despite Kattar's efforts to defend and counter, Sterling's dominance was evident as he secured takedowns and maintained control throughout the rounds. The crowd expressed their discontent with Sterling's grappling-heavy strategy, but he remained relentless in his approach. Ultimately, Sterling's superior grappling and control earned him a unanimous decision victory, with all judges scoring the fight in his favor. I predicted Aljamain Sterling had a 62% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and he got the job done. He's not an exciting fighter to watch, and he tends to hold his opponents a lot instead of chasing a finish, but he got the W regardless, as we expected. In the next fight, we had Jiri Prochazka versus Aleksandar Rakic. From the opening bell, Rakic showcased his striking skill, landing jabs and low kicks on Prochazka. Despite Rakic's early dominance, Prochazka displayed resilience, absorbing a lot of punishment while delivering powerful strikes of his own. As the fight progressed into the second round, Prochazka mounted a fierce comeback, landing significant strikes that visibly affected Rakic. Prochazka's relentless assault eventually overwhelmed Rakic, prompting the referee to stop the fight at 3 minutes and 17 seconds of the second round. With this impressive victory, Prochazka demonstrated his resilience and cemented his status as a top contender in the light heavyweight division. I predicted Aleksandar Rakic had a narrow 53% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study. I wanted to get proven wrong so badly in this fight. Jiri is one of my favorite fighters. I love his mentality when it comes to MMA and psychology. The logical pick had to be Rakic based on Rakic's skill, but if I had to pick based off emotion, I would definitely pick Jiri Prochazka. But I refuse to pick off of emotions. I only give logical bets, no emotions, just research, fight film study, intuition, and statistics. I'm truly happy that I got this one wrong. I don't care what it does to my accuracy percentage, and I also did mention Jiri Prochazka in my Promising Underdogs video, so if you jumped on that and you made a profit off of him as an underdog, good on you. In the next fight, we have Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. This was the opening bout of the main card. Nickal had a significant betting advantage, entering into the octagon as a clear favorite. However, Brundage displayed resilience and aggression from the start, surprising Nickal with a flying head kick and a jump knee. Despite Brundage's early offense, Nickal showcased his wrestling prowess, securing takedowns and dominating the ground game. In the second round, Nickal continued his dominance, securing a takedown and transitioning to a rear naked choke, forcing Brundage to tap out at 3 minutes and 38 minutes of the round. Despite his victory, Nickal expressed dissatisfaction with his performance, signaling a desire for improvement in his future fights. Now, I predicted Bo Nickal had a 84% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and although he didn't dominate him much, he still had control and got the W. In the next fight, we had Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. Oliveira, driven to reclaim his belt, showcased his aggressive style right from the start, landing significant strikes and threatening with a guillotine choke. However, Tsarukyan displayed resilience, weathering Oliveira's attacks and delivering effective counter-strikes. In the second round, Tsarukyan secured a takedown and controlled Oliveira on the ground, landing ground-and-pound strikes and securing dominant positions. Oliveira fought back, attempting submissions and landing elbows from his back, but Tsarukyan's control and ground game proved effective. The third round saw both fighters trading strikes and grappling exchanges, with Oliveira attempting multiple submissions. Despite Oliveira's late surge, Tsarukyan's strong performance throughout the fight earned him a split decision victory. It shouldn't have been a split decision in my opinion, even though I'm an Oliveira fan. If I'm being honest, Tsarukyan did enough to get the unanimous decision victory, but hey, it's all good. I predicted Arman Tsarukyan had a 58% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and he did not disappoint. That axe kick he threw was absolutely insane, against a taller opponent too. In the next fight, we had Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. In this electrifying BMF fight between these two guys, fans were treated to an epic clash that lived up to its hype. Gaethje and Holloway engaged in a back-and-forth battle from the opening bell, with Holloway showcasing his technical striking skills and Gaethje demonstrating his trademark power and aggression. Towards the very end of the first round, Max Holloway threw a spinning back kick and Gaethje simultaneously dipped, and the kick ended up landing flush on Gaethje's face, which ruined his nose, his ability to breathe, and heavily influenced the course of the fight, not to take any credit away from Holloway or his insane performance. Despite both fighters landing significant strikes throughout the fight, Holloway's precision and volume gradually took their toll on Gaethje. In the final round, with just seconds remaining, Holloway signaled Gaethje to meet him in the center of the octagon and throw shots in the pocket, and Holloway unleashed a devastating flurry of strikes, culminating in a perfectly timed right fist that sent Gaethje crashing to the canvas, and he got knocked out cold. What an insane fight and an insane moment. Both of these guys are true warriors. Max Holloway is an absolute beast. I predicted Justin Gaethje had a 55% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study. I thought his leg kicks and power would overwhelm Holloway. That injury at the end of the first round really impacted the remainder of the fight. Not to make excuses for Gaethje at all, but maybe we could have had a different result if he hadn't had so much trouble breathing or hesitating with strikes in order to protect his nose first. This was a masterclass performance from Holloway regardless, so full respect to him. One thing I wanted to point out to you guys was that the prediction models actually picked Holloway to win against Gaethje. So this is another example of where the prediction models are fully capable of picking underdogs and getting it right. In the next fight, we had Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan. In the first round, Zhang's striking and grappling skills were on full display as she scored a takedown and attempted a rear naked choke, although Yan just barely survived until the bell. Let me be honest though, she was out. She couldn't stand, she was confused as if she already had lost, and she wobbled her way to her side of the octagon. But anyways, the second round saw Zhang continue her control on the ground, landing heavy strikes and threatening with submissions. Yan showcased resilience in that third round, landing significant strikes and defending against Zhang's takedown attempts. However, Zhang maintained her dominance in the grappling exchanges in the fourth and fifth rounds, controlling Yan on the ground and landing significant strikes from the top position. Ultimately, Zhang secured a unanimous decision victory, with the judges scoring the bout in her favor, reaffirming her status as the UFC Women's Strawweight Champion. I predicted Zhang Weili had a 72% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and she got the win here. She's truly good at adapting during fights. She noticed Yan was weak in the grappling department and took complete advantage of that. She has wonderful fight IQ. In the next fight, we had the former two-division champion Alex Pereira versus trash-talking Jamal Hill. With referee Herb Dean overseeing the action, both fighters exchanged strikes early on, testing each other's defenses with kicks and punches. Pereira showcased his power with a thunderous body kick and a devastating left hand that sent Hill crashing to the mat. Pereira wasted no time in finishing the fight with a series of hammer fists, rendering Hill unconscious and prompting Dean to intervene. As Pereira celebrated with his team, including coach Glover Teixeira, he expressed his desire to continue defending his title and even entertained the idea of competing at heavyweight in the future. With this spectacular knockout, UFC 300 concluded on a high note, setting the stage for a potential year-end awards and leaving fans eager for more exciting moments within the octagon. I still genuinely can't believe people doubted Pereira, and with so much confidence too. You really just had to rewatch his recent fights and his previous fights at Glory Kickboxing, and you'd quickly realize he's far more technical and skilled than Jamal Hill ever was. I nailed this prediction in my prediction video, even mentioning how Jamal Hill hasn't fought tough enough opponents yet, and that there's so many levels to this game. I predicted Alex Pereira had a 53% probability of winning based on my prediction models, other research outside of statistics, and fight film study, and he nailed a first-round finish. I even tweeted prior to the fight that Pereira will end that Drake curse once and for all for MMA, and he did just that. I was genuinely confident that he has exactly what's needed to finish Jamal Hill. This is really embarrassing for Hill, doing all of those theatrics and failing miserably. All in all, this was an amazing card, probably the best card I've ever seen, and I've been watching UFC for over 13 years now. And that was it. We ended the night 8 out of 13 fights, which is a 62% accuracy. Honestly, the accuracy could have been much, much better if, for example, the Andrade split decision went in favor of Rodriguez instead, or if Turner hadn't turned his back like a dummy and finished the fight when he had the chance to do so. Or maybe if Gaethje didn't get injured within that first round so he could actually execute his skills, but hey, I digress. A 62% accuracy on a card with such high-level talent on both sides isn't bad at all. As I wrap up my recap of UFC 300 Pereira vs. Hill, I hope you found this breakdown of each fight informative and engaging. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button for more content like this in the future. Your support keeps me motivated in continuing to bring you the latest updates and analysis from the world of MMA. So until next time, please stay tuned for more action-packed reviews and analysis. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.